Just want to kind of touch on Chelsea. I'm pissed. I'm just pissed. Like, what's going on? You know,
Yo,
whoever is running that stuff in whoever is running the transfers in Chelsea, that's who we need to recruit. You know,
honestly,
like
man.
stop this
Let me.
nonsense sporting director or whatever it is. Hey everyone, we're back again with another episode. It's been a long time, man. Lots has happened. Obviously, we've had the Champions League finals, PSG versus Bayern Munich. We've also had the Europa League finals as well with Seville and Inter Milan. Obviously, lots of transfer rumors going on. Obviously, the biggest one of all, Messi wanted to leave Barcelona. So there is a lot of talking points today. So yeah, we're just going to get started. So Charles, how have you been? How's your summer been? And yeah, let's get started.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been good. Summer's been a weird one. Been a weird one. Let's just say that. But yeah, I can't complain really. I can't complain.
Yeah,
How have you been?
yeah, I've been good. I've been good. Obviously, just busy. Trying to take advantage of the short summer that we had. Sometimes I forget that we're still in the same calendar year, just because of
Yeah.
everything that
Yeah.
has happened. But yeah, man. Obviously, we saw. We never thought we were going to see the end of the season, but it finally happened. Obviously, we know the
Yeah.
winners of every league, from the Spanish league to the British league as well.
Yeah.
Um, Surprisingly, that Manchester United obviously managed to tiptoe their way to third place. So um,
I thought they
that was
blew it
definitely an
against
achievement.
Bournemouth.
Sorry?
I thought they blew it against. I think it was the Bournemouth game
Yeah,
or West Ham. It might have been.
I think it was.
No, it was. I think it
It
was
was
West
West
Ham.
Ham. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they
and
blew it at that game, but yeah, they managed to sneak in there.
I don't know what happened to Leicester City. That was the thing with COVID, right? Some teams took advantage of it, and some teams
Yeah,
just, it just did not sit well with their performances. So,
mm,
like just in terms of obviously the finish, I know Chelsea fans would probably be pretty upset with the way things ended. How do you rate this third place finish? Do you rate it like the Mourinho second place finish? Like, how do you rate that? Where it was just, 'cause, numbers kind of lie, and did we deserve to be third place?
you know what? I would say we deserved it. I would say had COVID not happened. Oh, actually, first of all, I just want to say that like before I was all for canceling the leagues. I am so glad that they didn't. I'm actually really, really happy that they didn't. Because I missed football and I didn't realize how much I missed it when it was off. But yeah, I would. I have a thing like because we still kind of just we got third place on goal difference, right?
Yeah,
So I kind of for me it's like yeah we got third place, but we're still kind of sharing it with Chelsea, even though we're not. So I don't
yeah,
know. I kind of have a thing with that. I would say the Mourinho second place was probably better because the team was considerably worse.
yeah.
Um, and I think Solskjaer had how long has he been? Oh no, he hasn't been in charge as long as Mourinho, has he?
No, he hasn't. So it's kind
Yeah,
of one of the, because he came halfway through the season
yeah,
last year, right? Last season.
hmm
So it's been a
yeah,
season and a half. I would give,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
I
but you know
mean,
what? Yeah, I definitely do agree with you on that. Is I think we just became third because everybody else just bottled it.
Yeah.
from Leicester City to Chelsea. And over Manchester City didn't seem to have a good return from COVID as well. But the one thing I could say that I was really impressed about was our defensive record. Judging
Yeah.
from last season, where I think we were based on our defense, we were like the third like best team, or like no, the third worst, I think, defensively in the league. And now, sir.
Nothing.
Yeah, we were like literally like we were pretty bottom there, and then I know everyone makes fun of Maguire, and I'm not the biggest fan of Maguire. Don't get me wrong. Lindelof, don't get me started with him, but I think he's made a huge difference. And was he worth the 80 million pounds? I don't think he was, but
Yeah.
that's just the inflation with soccer right now. Is any player you're going to get, especially when you have the financial power like Manchester United, is you're going to have to overpay for players. But at the end of the day, I think he's done the job.
Yeah.
We were the third best after Liverpool and Man City. I mean, we're
Yeah.
only 3 goals. I think we had only considered 3 goals more than Liverpool, which, considering they had Van Dijk, I think, I would say they did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with Maguire is, yeah, okay, Leicester absolutely rinsed us for 80 million. He's not worth that. But he's a good defender. He's not the most graceful defender.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of people get too caught up in the like social media screenshots or the one mistake that people make. I don't think he's a bad defender. He's not an 80 million pound defender, but he's not the most graceful. Like he's not going to be bloody Maldini, but he still does the job. So I think people need to give him a bit of a break.
Sergio Ramos is one of those guys too, right? Whereby, if you just took the worst moments of Sergio Ramos, you would think he was, you would not even rate him. But like you said, right, you can't. He was there. He's been there throughout his career, and when it mattered, right?
Yeah.
And I think Maguire was there for us. I don't think he missed a single game. Plus, you have to realize that he didn't have a consistent partner either, as a center back, as well as on the right, actually the left hand side too, because Shaw was injured quite a bit, and then you had Lindelof and Bailly coming in. But I don't know about you, but I'm still convinced that I think Eric Bailly is a better pair with Maguire than Lindelof is, because I feel that just the exact same kind of defenders. Maguire is just a bit more experienced, and I feel that it's hurt us every time we've paired them together. That's just my take on that. But but obviously we know what happened. The league is over. There's nothing we can do about it. It felt pretty sweet to laugh at the opposing fans, that we came third place after all the banter that happened. So just, moving to the Europa League, obviously that was disappointing from a Manchester United perspective. We thought that was our trophy to at least challenge for, at least get to the finals. What did you think about our performance against Seville? Did you feel that we did enough to?
I mean, the one thing I can take away from the Europa League, like the one positive I've drawn from Europa League, is that we got knocked out to the team that won it. I'm not saying that that's an excuse because of Manchester United, but if you're gonna get knocked out, it should be to the team that wins. The performance, I feel like there's kind of a theme where it's like we get in these games and we get in these games where it's like kind of like important games. Like I think what was it, 3 semifinals that we lost this season. It's like how? You know how we get in these positions, and I don't know if it's like the pressure gets to them, or if
Tactics are just wrong.
tactics are wrong, or if it's even like some kind of voodoo thing where like Manchester City can't get past the quarterfinals, and like for us this season it was the semifinals. I don't know, but like I think this season was, let's say, something to build on. So like now we're in the Champions League for next season. I would be extremely shocked if we won it. That's not gonna happen, I don't think. But I would say, like, you know what? We got knocked out to the team that won the Europa League. So that is the consolation that I can take from that game, from that tournament.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that the Europa League giants, realistically,
They're the Real Madrid of of Europa League. Like,
yeah.
Because when you think about it, if Real Madrid, there's no, there's certain, like, Real Madrid is one of those teams whereby if they get to a certain level in the tournament, Real Madrid, Barcelona is the Munichs. Put Munich in the final, and you know who's winning that. It's like putting Brazil in the final of the World Cup. Well, I guess maybe not the Brazil of this generation, like not the current Brazilian team, but but like Real Madrid, if they ever make it to the finals, you know who's winning it. It's just that experience. They just know how to win.
Yep.
When they get to the goal is for teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, I guess Seville, when it comes to the Europa League, is you have to knock them out early. If not, it's theirs for the taking. I see what you're saying. I know we had said there was 3 semis. I can't remember the first one that we got knocked out of. Was that the
FA
Carabao
Cup, I think.
Yeah, FA Cup was against Chelsea. Yeah. That you can kind of understand why Ole picked that team. Well, just because we were obviously the most important thing was to get to Champions League. That by all means, that was the most important thing. And then the Carabao Cup. We lost to City, to Manchester City in that one, and we didn't even have. And that was when we had our entire team injured, basically. So I'll give them that, And then I think the one that really hurt me was the Europa League semifinals. I think. Maybe it was tiredness. I think.
I'd say that definitely played a part, because I'm pretty sure they'd had quite a few games in quick succession during that week. Like, what was it? Maybe like 2 days before they played or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I blame in that game. I blame Ole. I'm Ole for it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I think Ole did the best that he could. He looked at his bench." And he couldn't find anybody that was good enough on his bench. I'm like, no, don't cut me that bull. You know what I mean? Because the team was set up well. The team played well. The first half, I think it was kind of a bit slow. I think in the first half, I think Pogba was the only guy that was playing on that field, dictating the play. And in the second half, Martial kind of came in. Everybody kind of came into the game. I think where Ole has continued to do this consistently, and I hope he learns from next season is he subs are way too late. I think it was like by the end of the first half, I could tell you that Rashford, this was not a game for him. His mind was not there. It just was not. He just wasn't doing anything right. So it's, why do you still keep playing him? And when you're playing a team whereby they're defensively organized, so you now need somebody to hold the ball. That's when you should be getting the likes of Igalo that can come in, push Martial to the left, because the left is basically useless because Rashford wasn't doing anything. He was losing the ball. He was losing the possession. He was having a tough time. So as a coach, as a fan, I could see that from the first half is, okay, give him up to the 50th minute. If he's still struggling at that point, you know what, Rashford, we love you. We love what you do, but I'm going to bring in Igalo. Put him on put Igalo in the middle, have Martial coming in from the left. have Greenwood coming in from the right, and then you can now work your way in. He
Yeah.
could have brought in. He could have brought Matic. I was even thinking Matic a bit because Fred was good. Fred had a good game, but there's certain games, even though you had a good game, it's more about stability. And I think Fred just didn't create the
And
stability that
provide
we
that.
needed in the midfield. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's when Matic comes in. Matic can kind of calm things down. And now let's push forward. And I think he didn't do that. So because of that, we were playing with people that were not connecting the dots. Things was not going well. So for
Mm.
me, that because if you noticed when Igalo came in, I think it was like extra time or whatever, we actually started like attacking and actually, like knocking on their door because
Yeah.
Igalo was able to hold the ball. And to me, it's like, why extend his contract if you're not going to put him in situations like that? And
Yeah.
my one last thing is what frustrates me about Ole is he was in his entire career at Manchester United, he was never a starter. Yeah, obviously he started games here and there, but he was the super sub. So for me, you would think that somebody who built his career on being a super sub will understand the science behind substitutes. You would
Yeah.
think that would be his game. And it's crazy because he's the one coach that doesn't, he just doesn't, he's like, he believes in plan A and he sticks to plan A and it doesn't matter what happens. Even if the entire team gets injured, he's sticking to plan A. And it's like,
Mm.
you got to be flexible as a coach. You were a super sub. Ferguson that you're trying to mold yourself after knew how to use subs. No matter how bad the sub was, he knew how to use them. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that he needs to learn, because Pogba, Bruno, Martial, these guys can't just keep doing it on an individual level.
Mm.
We need to have, whereby if it's not working, by all means, maybe, Bruno can come out. I think Bruno in that game as well, people might hate me for saying this, he had an okay game. Yeah, he was running around. His flicks were not coming off the right way. Then at that point, you switch it up, bring somebody else in, And I think that's where Ole lacks that, that football, that manager sense.
Like cutting edge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, cutting edge. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that was kind of disappointing. But I was actually surprised that Seville, breezed past Inter Milan the way they did.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Inter Milan. As soon as Inter Milan got to the final, I thought that's it. That
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who they face, whether it's United or Sevilla or whoever. I thought they were gonna win it. Like I've always been a huge fan of Conte as a manager, and I think he's a great tactician. And the signings he's made, I'm genuinely terrified of facing Lukaku, the Man
yeah,
United fan. Like I think he would bully our entire defense. So I thought they had that in the bag. So yeah, I was surprised that Sevilla won it. But I mean, again, like you said, it's that experience in those games, right? That always comes in handy. That like mentality, they know what to do. So it's
yeah, exactly. So not much you can say about that. But I'm happy at least, like you said, we got to see it played out, and hopefully, we don't end up in the Europa League after next season. I think that's the prayer right now is we don't
yeah,
end up again, because yeah, it's just I can't
can't
go
do it,
through this
man.
roller coaster again, man. Of top
Honestly,
four race, I can't.
I mean, I don't know. This might sound bad, but just like, and I think I've just been spoiled supporting Man United when I did, like through the whole Ferguson era.
Yeah,
I can't watch. I let me. I find it hard watching Man United in the Europa League. Like it's almost difficult for me to care. Like when they got knocked out to Sevilla, like I was upset that they lost, but like I wasn't upset that they got knocked out. Like I wasn't upset that they got knocked out of Europa League. Like I as much as I would have loved to win it, I don't care because it's Europa League. Like I've always been used to Champions League, so it's like
yeah,
and not in the Champions League. Then like I just and that sounds bad, it sounds bad. It's just I think I've just been spoiled as like supporting them when I did, and yeah,
No,
so
I think you got
it's
every
hard
right.
for me to.
You know, it's like thinking about like, imagine if Real Madrid all of a sudden had to play in the Europa League. What do you
Hmm.
think that would look like? It would just be awkward, you know. And I
It
think,
would be, man. Yeah,
yeah, and
and
it's
it's like
crazy because it's crazy because that's the fear that I have is I don't want us to become like an Arsenal. That now
exactly,
it's actually more normal to see Arsenal in Europa League than it is to see them in the Champions League, which is
exactly.
weird. Yeah, that's crazy to think about that. But now seeing Arsenal in the Champions League seems like a foreign concept, you know.
Hmm.
So that's my
Like
that's
they
my
must have had a
theory is
damn good
hope
season. Yeah,
we don't get to that whereby it becomes the norm that Manchester United is in the Europa League, you know.
yeah,
So, but yeah,
agree.
and just kind of moving on. Obviously, like we said, there's been a lot of updates with everything going on. We're looking at the Champions League finals. I think that was it wasn't entertaining. I think that was entertaining to say the least. I wasn't disappointed, even though the scoreline did not seem like that was a competitive game.
Mm.
What were your thoughts on that? And did you feel that PSG had a chance? Do you think PSG played well enough?
I
Um,
think I think PSG played a lot better uh, than they get credit for. I think they came up against a very complete Bayern team that were always going to be favorites. And you know what I think the problem is with PSG as a whole is the culture around the club is very like celebrity like almost. So you have your superstars, you have your Neymar, Mbappe, I don't know, like you have all these players and these personalities, and yes, they're there to play football. But at the end of the day, like maybe that's not their only um, concern. Whereas you just see Bayern, and they just look like it's like such. They just look like such a completely like well-oiled machine. Everyone knows what everyone's doing, and they just execute their job so perfectly. Like that was for me the main thing that I noticed. Like whether it was the 8-2 against Barcelona or the final, or like every game I watched Bayern, and they were just damn near flawless. And I think in the Champions League final, PSG had the chances, definitely had the chances to take that game by the balls and just
yeah,
they came up against a good team. Like Bayern have world class players in every position, and I don't think I don't think PSG are quite ready yet. I think they also took advantage of quite a strange season, and under normal circumstances wouldn't have made it this
this
far.
far.
I don't know what the hell happened to Neymar in that game. Um, and like it was to the point where like I felt bad for him, because you just knew every touch that he miscontrolled, every pass that he misplaced. You could see the headlines the next morning. Um, and I got to a point where I felt bad for him at a point. But having said that, if you are a 200 million pound player, you have to show up in those games. There is no excuses for what he did. Um, and that's just it for me. I think maybe the pressure got to him or whatever, and it happens to the best players. But
And you know what?
I
I think you made a great point with that too, right? About the superstar thing.
mm,
And when I watched PSG, they had a lot of chances.
yeah,
I think you were coming up. That was one of those scenarios whereby you're coming up against a Munich that, like you said, experienced. A few of those players had been in a World Cup finals and also Champions League finals too, because
yeah,
Lewandowski was also there with when
Dortmund,
Munich won it last against
yeah,
Dortmund, right? So, so you had that, and then you had the German goalie who has been in the World Cup finals before as well and won the World Cup. So with Mueller as well. So it was just a well-balanced team, and you can tell that they had better composure on the ball. And there wasn't like the one player that was just stood out, and I think that was the problem with PSG was Ander Herrera. I think he played fantastic. I think the PSG backline, the supporting cast played well. I think it was Neymar and Mbappe put too much pressure on themselves. There were moments whereby, if that was any other team like a Munich, times where they could, Mbappe could have easily just passed the ball rather than trying to take on three guys. Same with Neymar is like, this is not Ligue 1, whereby you can just carry the ball and, yes, you can do it once in a while. Don't get me wrong. Neymar's got the ability. He's got the skill to do it. But when you're in a European final, you got to play as a team because you know what's going to happen. They're going to, and then you had the likes of Alaba, Alphonso Davies, which we'll get to in a minute. But you have these solid guys. Even Boateng, unfortunately, he got injured in the beginning but they had very solid defenders that experienced, right? And then Thiago, you had Thiago as well that was, tremendous in that game. So when you have a team like that, that's not even a Messi, and I think that's why Munich was also able to beat Barcelona 8-2 was because when you come against teams, when you're very organized and you come against teams that are relying on one individual. We use Manchester United as an example. What happened to Neymar? It's normal. What happened, Juve is the same thing. That's why these teams are not going past a certain level. Pogba and Manchester United is when there is the focal player, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because you get triple.
All you have to do is mark that player out of the game, and it's
done. And then what happens is that player knows that is the pressure on them. Like you said with Neymar, he's probably just thinking about the headlines tomorrow. So because of that, he's trying to do everything that he can, and it's just not working. There was a point where I could just see the frustration in him. He's losing the ball. Mbappe's making the wrong runs, the wrong decisions. So I think that was their downfall is now that they have the belief that they've reached the finals. I think next season they have to be a cohesive unit. They can't just be Neymar and Mbappe and then everybody else. You know what I mean? It has to be when you're supposed to shoot, when you're not supposed to shoot, you pass, not just do whatever you want in hopes of a goal, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and that's the thing as well. You kind of have to, like, you made a good point when you said like it's not Ligue 1. You're not playing against like Lens every week. You have to realize who you're playing against and make decisions based on that. It's not a game where you can just go and score a solo goal from half. Like I wouldn't expect to see that from even Messi or Ronaldo playing against Bayern Munich. So, I think they just kind of had to realize their opponents and make more sensible decisions. But it was the one thing I will say is that this final was 10 times better than last year's final for so many reasons, especially because the winners weren't bloody Liverpool.
Yeah, that was
that's still
last year's final again. I can't remember.
It was 2-0, but like the first goal was like a penalty inside. It was Liverpool Tottenham. Like, come on now.
Yeah, just like watching like
penalty inside the first few minutes or something, and then Origi goal or something like that in the last 5 minutes, and the rest of the game was just shite. So
yeah, it typically happens in finals is like the guy off the bench seems to sign in But I definitely was and that's the one thing I gotta say. I think overall Munich played well, and I think PSG played well overall. Like they were solid at the back. moving the goal was not really anything spectacular, right? So they were solid in midfield and at the back. There wasn't one team that you would say dominated the game. I don't think anybody can say that. Um, I think it's just the final. It was the final touches just let PSG down.
I
You
would
know?
I would say I would say Bayern dominated the game in the sense that like yeah, they may not have had 78% possession, but
Yeah,
I think they dominated the game and that you could see it was very obvious that they had a game plan and they came out and they executed it to perfection with that German efficiency. Like
yeah,
I don't know how they do it honestly, but it was you could see because like I know every single time there was the high press, whether it was the high press from the front or shutting down Neymar and Mbappe, which those two are phenomenal players. It didn't necessarily work 100% of the time, but you could see that the intent was there, and I think obviously I think you could see PSG's game plan as well as kind of to you know let them attack and then catch them on the counter attack or something.
yeah,
Because there were times
exactly.
when use the speed of Neymar and Mbappe. Um, times when they caught Bayern with a few players at the back, but I think I would say Bayern dominated that game in the sense that their game plan was very, very obvious and it was executed almost flawlessly.
Yeah,
But,
I gotta
and
agree.
that's why they
I gotta
won.
agree on that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was, and and they won the treble. They
yeah.
won the domestic league and domestic cup as well. So, big ups to Munich. Do you think that this could be the start of the German? Because we've talked about this. The Spanish league has Spain has dominated Europe for the past, I would say, 12 seasons. You got to say,
Mm.
and then we had a short run of the British teams, but that didn't last too long. Do you and the reason I say this about Germany is when you kind of look around, they do have quite a lot of young talent, like on the
Mm.
Munich team, and then you do have even Borussia Dortmund. They have a
Yeah.
lot of young prospective players that could, and then obviously if Jadon Sancho stays and Haaland and those guys,
Mm.
do you see the German league being a force for the next couple of seasons?
I mean, German teams. Well, I'll say Bayern and Dortmund are always going to be in and around the trophies. At this point, I would say for this coming season, depending on obviously the transfer window, which we'll get to soon. I don't see a team that is more complete than Bayern Munich. So I I would have to say I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna say complete dominance, but at the same time, I don't see a team that's more complete than Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
And the reason why I say no is because I don't know what other teams are going to do in the transfer market. Also Lewandowski's not a young footballer anymore. I do think there is the potential for his. I don't think he's going to be scoring 55 goals next season.
yeah.
Um, so it will. I think it will depend quite heavily on recruitment, but um, I'm gonna say not like I'll say not like a Real Madrid dominance, like a 3-peat or something like that. Could they
Yeah.
retain it? There's a chance that they could. I would probably put my money on them as the most complete team, but no, I don't. I don't think it will be German dominance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like you
I
said,
don't.
right? I think COVID kind of, like you said, could Munich and PSG have made it to the finals if let's say we had a full season and there was not the entire 3 months break and things like that.
Mm,
And also remembering that the German league started a month earlier than the rest of the leagues, and then the French league didn't even restart till the
yeah.
Champions League. So, so there is a lot of factors that did play into performances, but I do agree with you that the Munich team probably the most complete right now. Um, and but yeah, what was your take on Man City? I was convinced that Man City was going to the finals, and that was it. And then at that point, obviously, once you get to the finals, doesn't matter who you are, it's anybody's game.
Yeah. Well, I think I guess I was more surprised that it was Leon that knocked them out. Because let's face it, Manchester City were always going to be the favorites in that game. Um, so I was surprised that it was Leon that knocked them out. I don't know if it's a Pep Guardiola thing or a Manchester City thing, but like they just cannot seem to make it past that quarterfinal stage. And um, I don't actually have the heart to make fun of Raheem Sterling, for that miss. I don't have the heart
Yeah,
because like anyone who's played football, anyone who's been a striker or played along the front line has been there at some point in their life. And when he missed that chance, I felt for him. I really did.
yeah,
I felt for him. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Man United fan, so like I also found it hilarious at the same time. But
yeah.
I did genuinely feel for him in that moment because it was like, what's gonna happen. They're gonna be talking about this. The memes are gonna be lit. It's just one of those things. But I just think in that game, again, Leon were the better team. Were they maybe slightly lucky at times? Sure. But at the same time, sometimes if the stars align for you like that, that's, who are you to say no?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think you're right on that too. With obviously, it kind of goes back to when we were talking about do we scrap the league or not. You want as much as we didn't want to see Liverpool win the trophy. We knew at the same time, as a Manchester United fan, I wouldn't ever feel comfortable that we just scrapped the league and did not, and Liverpool did not win it, even though they deserved to win the league this year. So I think it kind of goes to the same thing with Man City. The Sterling thing, it's like it's happened to so many players, in the past, and just you're just thinking about what his mind is going through. He's not going to get over that for a very, very long time, and it's sad that it happened the way it did.
yeah,
And I think, like you said, it goes back to PSG, whereby the clock starts ticking. There's so much pressure on you because, all the odds are in your favor. And all of a sudden now it becomes an individual thing, right? Sterling
yeah,
is trying to now, the same thing, trying to break through like 10 players. Kevin De Bruyne, he's trying magical passes that, everyone's just trying everything they could just to, just get in front, right? And I think that happens to all of us too when we play. You
yeah.
start getting very desperate and you're seeing, you're already imagining the goal before it even happens.
That's
And
that's
because of that,
exactly what he did. I knew it. I knew it instantly. Like he thought he had scored before he'd even touched the ball, and that's
yeah,
how he missed. I've seen it so many times before. I've done it myself. Like it's
yeah,
just it's one of those things, man. But like it just goes to show you can't take these things for granted. Make
no,
sure
you
the ball's
can't.
in the back of the net before you think it's in the back of the net. Like
Yeah, those
but
little things when that, but
yeah,
yeah, but it is what it is, right? You can't,
yeah,
but like you said, I'm happy that City did not win the Champions League this
yeah,
year. And you know what? I was kind of hoping that, City did not win it this year. Pep would leave, and then, we can say an end to an era. But
yeah.
unfortunately, it looks like things are turning around. We get into the transfer talks now, where
I do,
um,
I do have two quick questions for you before we get to the
yeah,
transfer talk.
Yeah.
First of all, first question is, uh, if City had won that game, if City had beat Lyon and advanced to the final, do you think they would have beat Bayern Munich? Do you think Pep would have pulled something out of his ass and beat Bayern Munich somehow?
I think they would have stood a better chance than PSG in the
Okay.
sense of the kind of football that City plays.
Okay.
But like we said, obviously before the finals, I would say I was one of the I can comfortably say I thought City had this in the bag. You know what I mean? But seeing Munich play the way they did in the finals, it's hard to say it now. I look and I still think that Munich would have um, beat Man City, and I think honestly, I think probably with more goals. And the reason I say this is because Man City is a very attacking team. They like to have possession, but they're shambles at the back. Man City is not
Mm.
strong at the back. So
Yeah.
that was the thing with PSG. PSG was pretty organized at the back. So that's
Mm.
where over Munich didn't find it easy breaking through that defense. But I think City, it's easier to break through City's defense. But on from the
Mm.
offensive side, I don't know. It's hard to say because now I've seen how Munich played. So it's like I can't see another team playing better than that. So I'll still say Munich.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I agree. I don't think they would have beat Munich. I think Pep's tiki taka uh, style of play, which as beautiful and as easy as it is on the eye, has kind of is almost outdated in a sense now. Like it was great back in 2010, or maybe there's just certain players that can do it, and certain players that, and the rest of the world can't. But at least to the level that he wants. Um, but I think that type of style of play, I would maybe outdated is the wrong word. It's just people they've gotten wise to it now, so it's like, yeah, okay, we'll let you pass the ball around and wait for you to fuck up, and then we'll hit you on the counter attack. Because, like you say, they do have a very weak defense. Um, and that I guess that leads me into my second question, which is let's say you're the owner of Manchester City, and you brought Pep in specifically to win you the Champions League. He's now failed on 3 separate occasions, and he's supposed to be the best coach in the world. Do you think he still deserves to keep his job, or do you sack him? And I ask this question because with Pep's reputation as the best coach in the world and Manchester City's reputation as a team that just has a shitload of money,
Yeah,
like, let's face it, Manchester City, I don't consider them a big club. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Man United fan. I'm saying that just because, yeah, they've won a few league titles. So has Blackburn. Um, so do you think Pep deserves to keep his job? Because now he's just going to demand. And like Pep has spent more on the defense of Manchester City than some countries have spent on their own national defense. Like, and
yeah,
he's just going to keep doing that because he has a license to, because he has it, because of his reputation. His
yeah.
reputation was built when he had the best team, one of the best teams in history. So, like, do you think he deserves to keep his job?
It's a hard one, right? Because as much as obviously would I like to see him leave? Obviously I want to because it's like Klopp leaving Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the argument of sometimes the coaches that makes the team. Not it's like Ferguson. You could have the most average players, but the coach, the tactics work, and I think Guardiola has really good tactics. But the thing is, if you were to fire him right now, who are you gonna
That's the
bring
question.
in that
Yeah.
could do a better job, right? There isn't really that many options out there.
Well,
Yes,
I
you
mean,
have sorry?
Pochettino. There's Pochettino's out there. I mean,
But okay. So when you look at it from a, but when you look at it from a coaching standpoint, yes. Don't get me wrong. I rate Poch. I rate him a lot. But when you watch what he's done, he hasn't done anything that is that spectacular when it comes to the likes of Pep Guardiola and Klopp and those guys. He
Okay,
hasn't really
but
done anything that's like we're gonna.
okay, that- because I think that's an interesting point because I would say Pochettino getting Tottenham to a Champions League final during a season where they didn't make any signings is a bigger achievement than, or I'll say, I don't know how to put this. I would say it's a bigger achievement than Pep winning a league title. I would say it's almost as big as Pep winning the Champions League with the team he had back in the day. Because let's
Yeah,
face it, Tottenham are not, you know, 2009 Barcelona or 2011 Barcelona.
yeah,
They never have been and they never will be. And
the Munich
let's not
team.
forget that Pochettino knocked out Pep on his way to that final. So
Yeah,
I think Pochettino is an example of how a team that is well coached can beat a team full of superstars. So, and I'm not saying Manchester City aren't well coached. I'm not saying Guardiola's a good coach, and I personally don't want Pochettino to go to Manchester City. But that is an option were they to fire him. Because I'm sorry, but like for me personally, if I was the chairman or the president or whatever, I can't keep pumping money into like the amounts of money that he needs to constantly rebuild his defense and his team. I wouldn't
yeah.
want to keep investing that money into where it's like, listen, we've done this 3 times and you haven't gotten us any further. Like, what more do you want? It's already like almost $1 billion team they've assembled, right? So like,
Yeah.
I personally don't see how. I think his reputation from when he had Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi is the only reason why he still has a job.
You know what? That you actually raise a good point there in the sense of I still feel like it'll be hard to fire to let him go um
Definitely.
from because of all the achievements that he's had, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's a business, like you said. When Poch left Tottenham, that was like the biggest shock because
Mm-hmm.
for what he had done with the team that he had, to still let someone like that just go, that's rough, right? So but I see where you're coming from in the sense of if he maybe this was kind of the thing they said, you know what? Because sometimes to having a coach that has the appeal to get players in, that's huge. You know what I mean? And I think right now, you know, Pep and Klopp are arguably the best coaches in the world. Even though I think Zidane is up there, people don't rate Zidane like that, but I think Zidane is up there too with what he's done with Real Madrid as well. So, but looking at
Yes.
it, I don't. It would be hard for me. I don't think that would be a decision that the board would make. I think they would give him one more season. I think after the season, if Man City doesn't win the Champions League, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of rumblings in among the players. And I think at that point,
Mm.
you're going to start getting a bit of that because, like you said, these guys they train Man City's. It's too hot, it's too intense for them not to get to that next level. And I think all those players are ready for the next level, whether it's Kevin De Bruyne or Sterling and those guys. So I think if they can win the Champions League next season, they will probably start looking for. They might start complaining, and at that point, Pep will have to make a manly decision to either step down or the board will probably have to just pay him his severance package and call it a day. But I think they will still give him a chance. And I think the culture in England too is a bit different. We in England in the Premier League we give people a chance. It's not
Mm.
like the Real Madrids and Barcelonas that you could win the Champions League and the League Cup, but because you didn't win the league, you're, bye-bye. So
Mhm.
it's the culture is different. The British culture is a bit different in how um, people, players and coaches are assessed. So
Yeah.
I do agree with you for sure. I'm actually surprised that he's staying. I thought he would just say, you know what, I've done the best I could with Man City. But I think we can give it one more season, and if that doesn't happen, then yeah,
Fair.
that kind of yeah. But so speaking of, do you think that Pep can bring Messi to Man City?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's. I think I'll put it this way. I think that is the only. If Messi leaves, that's the only place he's going to go. For a number of reasons. They're the only ones that can. Well, not the only ones, but like they're one of the teams that can afford him. There's obviously the lure of working with Pep again, which I guess is another reason for him to keep us. Um, I just and again the style of play, like the Premier League is probably the only destination for Messi because of the money that's involved in the Premier League. Um, I just don't know why he would want to go play at the Etihad, where there's like no fans. But that's none of my business, I guess. I'm not a supporter of Man City, so I don't give a shit. But
That's a nice stadium, man. That's a pretty, that's a nice stadium
beautiful
still.
stadium. It's just they can't fill it up,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think if he leaves, that's the only way. That's the only place he will go. I don't see him going to Manchester United. I really, really hope he doesn't go to Italy to like try and rekindle the rivalry with Ronaldo. They've had the rivalry. They were both at the peak of their powers, and they should leave it at that.
Yeah.
Leave it so that it can be remembered for what it was. So I think that is his only destination really to go. Having said that, it's also looking unlikely that he leaves this season just due to the fact like this whole contract dispute thing.
Yeah.
Because even La Liga are now coming out and backing Barcelona and being like, well, yeah, he can go if someone pays 700 million euros. And that's not a small amount of money. So,
No.
like,
Especially after a pandemic for a 33-year-old
exactly,
player.
exactly.
No.
And that's another thing. Like, how much longer is he going to be at the top? Like, because I don't think Messi is Ronaldo. Ronaldo is just a machine. Messi is a machine in his own right, but they're
Type
two
of
different
players.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I definitely do see your point there. Obviously, it's a tough one, man. Like I never saw this day coming. I don't think anybody saw this day coming where Messi would say he wants to leave Barcelona. I thought it was a done deal. He was going to retire there. They would have a statue in his
yeah,
name, like they did for Thierry Henry at Arsenal.
yeah.
Um, but I think I just feel like it would just be nice to wake up on a Sunday morning and
Hmm.
see Messi play in the league. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, man.
there is the
They
appeal to
had him for
it.
17 years, man. Like, share the love. Come on now.
I know exactly. Share the love. Share some of that love, and that's all we need. And there'll be so many teams in the league that will just, will have sold out stadiums. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody would. I think we'll just elevate the league because not everybody, the world is, when you're playing Stokes on a Sunday, all of a sudden Stokes is getting how many millions of views because Messi's playing, right? So
Hmm.
that's huge. That's huge for the overall. But I think that's part of why La Liga. I know a lot of people would not say this, but I think it's part of why La Liga is stepping in is because they're like, wait, because think about it. If Messi was to leave right now, what is La Liga?
It's true.
Like,
It's true.
don't get me wrong, it's still a great league, but now you've lost the X factor of La
Hmm.
Liga. First of all, when Ronaldo left, since Ronaldo left, it hasn't quite been the same. You know what I mean? It hasn't quite been the same. and then now Messi leaving, La Liga is thinking, you know what? We need we need that money. We need the
Yeah.
revenue. We need that. So as much as they're trying to say, oh, we're trying to protect Barcelona, they don't care about Barcelona. They're caring about the overall league.
Yep.
Exactly. So to me, and from a EPL standpoint, hey, by all means, come through. We want to see you play.
Just as long as he comes to United.
Yeah, that would be a bonus
Yeah,
too.
like I don't want to see him play against us.
Yeah, but
You know,
I don't
it
know if
turned
you know
Harry
that.
Maguire inside out.
Just before we wrap up, just want to kind of touch on Chelsea. I'm pissed. I'm just pissed. Like, what's going on?
Yo,
Whoever is running that stuff in whoever is running the transfers in Chelsea, that's who we need to recruit.
honestly, man.
Stop this
Let
nonsense
me
sporting director or whatever it is. Like,
honestly,
it's
man,
crazy, man.
it's nuts. It's nuts. Let me like, man. It's. I find it so funny how like last season Frank Lampard and Chelsea get all this praise because they put faith in the youth, and as soon as their transfer ban gets lifted, they sign Thiago Silva, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner. Who else?
Zach,
They haven't signed Havertz yet, but
yeah,
Ziyech,
Ziyech.
all these
Um,
players, man. And it's like, what happened?
like,
Happened to
well,
building up the English youth? You know?
but you know what though? But you know what's too impressive about that? They're also young players too, though.
Yeah,
Like, what's his name is Timo Werner is what, 21 or
I think he's around 20, 23 or 24, something like
23?
that.
Yeah, and then
Something like that.
Ziyech is like probably like 25 maybe. So yeah, they're still relatively young, but that's crazy, man. I'm like, wait, I didn't even know that was possible. That you could
Yeah,
make deals that quick. And these are the top, these are like and these are players that are basically the 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 next generation, like not even
yeah,
the it generation, not even the next, right? Like your Mason Greenwoods are the next generation, but
mhm,
this is like like the Martials, the Rashfords,
yeah,
Sterling. This is their time now, right? So to be able to take all those guys in one shot in one summer after a pandemic, that's hats off, man. That
yeah,
is hats off. Like, sorry. Yeah,
definitely.
that's hats off. Like, I don't even know,
It,
like, at this point, where do you see, like, how do you even see, do you still feel they can compete with the Liverpools and the Man Cities with this?
yes, I think if they can gel, if they can gel, I don't think they'll win the league because I don't think Frank Lampard is experienced enough as a coach yet, as a manager. But if they can gel and if he gets the right balance with all these players, they can definitely cause problems. If I'm being honest, I don't see with the business that they've done this summer, I don't see Man United, beating them 3 out of 4 times uh, again next season. I'm being honest, especially if our only signing is going to be Donny van der Beek. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's not a good player and everything, but
But
like
hey,
we need more. We need
yeah,
more. We need to do what they're doing. And this goes back to what I've said about like I'm sidetracking a bit. But like this goes back to what I've said about Ed Woodward in the past, man. It's like this guy is a businessman before he's a football man. So
yeah,
he's gonna make deals that yes, I know
helps
you
the
need to
brand.
have a bit of that. Huh?
Yeah, that helps the brand and the stock.
Exactly. Like not necessarily the football side of things. So I mean, whatever Chelsea have got going on, whatever they're doing over there, like you said, we need a bit of that, man. Like they need we need a bit of that because we need a bit of that urgency, man. I don't know how our one solid link in Sancho that was so strong. I was talking big shit, man. When we made third place, I was talking so much shit. Like, yeah, we're gonna sign Sancho,
It's
we're
a
gonna
done
do this,
deal.
we're gonna do that. Done deal before they'd even before they'd even called an agent, right? And now that one solid link has gone completely flat, completely quiet, and now we're going to go spend 40 million on another player when our number one priority is a player that they're saying is going to cost 108 to 120 million or something like that. Now, I know Man United have financial power, but how much during a pandemic? Like, there's
Yeah.
only so much, you know?
Plus,
So,
do you feel like it's also apart from it could be like an Ole thing whereby players are just not convinced about him. It could be maybe people just don't see the United brand the way we fans see United brand as well. But like I don't know, like why is it that Chelsea's able to get all these players and they're not even getting them for like any astronomical figures. They're getting them for decent prices, right? So it's what are we
yeah.
doing wrong, or is it just United is just not what we used to be, and we're still in that.
Well,
United fans are still in that mindset that we're still that club.
well, I think that you have to consider that any player that Manchester United want to buy, let's say if that player is worth 50 million, because Man United want to buy him, that player is now worth 75. So, you know, in the case of and in the case of like, you know, players not wanting to play for Solskjaer, I don't think that's it. I really don't, because why would any player want to play for Frank Lampard more than they would want to play for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, especially when, you know, Solskjaer slapped Lampard 3 out of 4 times during the season and
We beat
finished
all the
above
top
him,
four teams, yeah.
you know? So, and let's face it, Manchester United are a more prestigious club than Chelsea. So I don't think it's so much to do with that they don't want to play for Solskjaer or that they're not convinced by Solskjaer, as the clubs may be getting greedy because it's Manchester United, and then Ed Woodward or the you know, whoever's in charge of the transfers or whatever it is, kind of in a sense trying to maybe bring it back to the center and be like, listen, you know, you wouldn't charge another player. Like, I don't know, but I do think that there is the whole like Manchester United brand. We're going to demand more money because I don't know how else we paid 80 million for Harry Maguire. I really don't.
Yeah, and then we can't pay what 100 for Sancho.
Exactly. Like if it's that big of a deal, like if you want him that badly, just pay the money. We know you have the money because you've been bragging about it.
So does that go back to just like before we wrap this up? Like, do you believe that Sancho deal is still going to happen? Or actually, speaking of, I read apparently what's his name, Thiago from Munich.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I heard that apparently there's talks that Man U is also trying to get him as well. So we thought like Liverpool. I thought Liverpool was a done deal. That's what I thought.
Yeah, me
But
too.
now rumors are coming out that apparently the likes of Tottenham, and I don't think Tottenham, he's going to go to Tottenham. Why would you
Can't
leave
afford it.
Munich to go to Tottenham? It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, the likes of at least, I think even Chelsea and Man U are also interested in him as well. So what is the likelihood that Sancho is still going to come in? Do you think it's going to be one of those transfer day deadlines whereby we're trying to refresh our phone every hour?
Yeah, I mean,
Thinking that something happens?
if it if it happens, I think it's going to happen in the way that like there's going to be quite a like pressure on the club almost to just sign someone, because like the one signing that we've made, which or that is almost completed, I'll say, isn't like a game-changing signing, at least in
Yeah.
my eyes. It's not a game-changing signing that like, okay, we've signed this player, now he's gonna help us challenge for the league. It's a start, but not there yet. I think if it happens, it's gonna be like I don't know if you remember, like back when in David Moyes' first season, when we were trying to sign fucking Fellaini for
Yeah,
God knows how long, and we couldn't do it, and then all of a sudden on transfer deadline day we signed him, but we ended up overpaying for him because um the
it
club
was
just
kind of like
bundled it, and we were just like, okay, well, we have to sign someone. Now I obviously don't know if that's the thinking behind it, but um,
but
I
that's been our track record, right? Is
exactly.
we end up signing the player for what the club had asked for, even more.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I can only remember post Ferguson era, I can only really think of, I'll say maybe two transfer windows that where I was like, all right, this is it. These are good transfer windows. I'm happy with these transfer windows. Like the one was with Louis Van Gaal when we signed Falcao, Di Maria, um, who else? I mean, well, anyway, that transfer window was
Was it Mkhitaryan? Is it Mkhitaryan? Was that the same? Oh,
Mkhitaryan,
Yeah.
Ibra, Pogba. That was the second one, the Mourinho
Oh, yeah, true.
one. Yeah, and that was the other transfer window. I was like, okay, these have been good transfer windows. Now it's time for us to, challenge. If we sign Sancho, I would be happy with two players. I'd be happy with Van der Beek and Sancho. If
Yeah,
we
I would too.
signed, I would obviously love another defender, but
Yeah,
I
there's
would
a
be
guy from
happy.
they also apparently that's also becoming a strong what's his name? The defender from
Uh,
Red Bull
Red Bull
yeah.
Salzburg. Yeah, like Pano, I think his name is.
Yeah, apparently that's
Yeah,
also becoming a strong link as well. So
yeah,
who knows?
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I would be happy if we signed Sancho and Van der Beek and no one else. I would be content. I'll say. I'd be happy if we signed Thiago, uh, Van der Beek and Sancho. I would be
Yeah.
happy if we signed a defender, Van der Beek and Sancho,
Or Grealish too.
or Grealish. But like, I think if we only sign Van der Beek, then it's still a failure. It's a
Yeah.
failure of a transfer window. So
Yeah, especially like we
that's
had said initially of how we finished the season.
mm,
That's a promising team that and I know we've joked about it as like, Pogba better not sign that contract until we sign someone big.
yeah.
that should be like part of the bonus is like you're gonna sign someone big and then I'm gonna sign, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. I honestly hope that sometimes I sit and it's like, what's going on? Like, it's all about Chelsea. It's all about Chelsea.
mm,
What is Man United doing? The last time I checked, Chelsea and Man U were the ones battling for that third and fourth spot. So why is it that it's just the one team that's actually making strides to
yeah,
close the gap between the first and the second, right? And we're just content to be okay to keep battling for top four, right?
yeah.
So it's been a lot. There's been a lot to cover today, but I'm happy we could do this. And
Yes.
yeah, so the season starts. I know the French league already started, and this is the one thing I know you had said you were for scrap the return of football. But I gotta say, man, I've been loving it. Just being
Me
back to
too.
back games. Sometimes I can't even keep track.
Yeah, it's fast, man. It's a
Yeah.
lot of games.
But anyways, that's definitely it for today. Um, it's definitely been nice going through everything, and yeah, I'm excited for the new season. Hopefully, we get the transfers that we need, and yeah, we can definitely move forward.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Like, it'll be an interesting season. It'll be interesting to see who lines up when the season starts, or when the transfer window is closed. I'll say.
Yeah,
But I will say I'm optimistic that I will say that I'm optimistic that a deal that will get more players in.